If you're a parent, I think you probably know this feeling I'm about to describe. There's some sort of a crisis in your family, be it a health crisis or educational issue or interpersonal issue that frankly can leave parents feeling befuddled and inadequate. The thing to remember is, though, you're not alone and there is help out there. And that's one of the reasons behind the 5th Annual Southeastern Massachusetts Community Resource and Crafts Fair. It's being held next Sunday now, October 22nd, in the gymnasium at Dartmouth High School on Bakerville Road. Here to talk about the fair is Kathleen Amaral, an organizer, and also another organizer, Mary Ann Santos. And they're here to talk about this fair now in its 5th year. We should, first of all, how are you both?
Very good.
Doing
Great.
well, thank you.
We should start by emphasizing the event is free. It's open to parents and families and surrounding communities, not just Dartmouth.
No, we open it to everyone.
All right. What's the purpose of the fair? We'll start, Kathleen, I guess.
The purpose of the fair is to create a venue so that we are incorporating lots of different resources under one roof, so the maximizing the impact and minimizing the legwork for parents to sort of connect with resources.
It is a event, and I did attend the first one, I believe. It's an event that you see a lot of people that you know. If you're a parent, you probably see some people you know. If you have to deal with an agency or two in the city, you're probably going to see some people you know. Mary Ann, what prompted you to kind of get involved in this? And I'll ask Kathleen the same subject, but what prompted you, Mary Ann?
This all started about 6 years ago. We were at our Special Education Parents Advisory Council meeting, and we were trying to find a way to have more meetings. We can only hold them once a month, so we were limited to just the school year. So we said, well, what if we did a whole day and got 20, 30 community services together? And that started at Quinn Elementary School. We did about 40 tables, and to draw more people, we added the craft fair to it. We found that there was more than 40 sources out there for everyone, so we asked to use the gym the following year at the Dartmouth High School. We went to 75 tables. We went to 100 tables the following year. We are at 134 this year, and that's about 50-50. So we have 50 crafters, local crafters. Some of them have disabilities themselves. And then we add the resources, and we add a basketball game, and to make it a fun-filled day. So it's been a really big passion of Kathleen and I. We started it. We do 50-50. She does the resources, I do the craft people, and then we meld them together.
Kathleen, what got you involved here? Pretty much the same?
Yeah, as I'm a parent in town and know firsthand what it's like to not know where to go, where to start, or feel like you're stuck in the mud. You know that maybe your children or your loved one needs something. You don't know where to find it. Calling on the phone, you're often on, So I was part of that conversation. There were about 5 of us, who sparked this idea, and then it grew from there. So I know the services I get in school for my son, and then it's also an idea, to give back, sort of. I know how hard it is, been there, and that's what sparked my
And that's important.
passion.
I think many parents want to feel, they want to be told, hey, you're not alone. You're not out here on an island. Mm-hmm. There is help available. And on Sunday, the 22nd of October, you probably are going to be able to find it, given the number of agencies and organizations that are going to be there. My count, I think, was more than 60, mm-hmm. And now you got a bigger list there. I can see you got a bigger list, so it's going to be more than that. This isn't just for parents of special needs children, is it?
No, not at all. We
Mary Ann,
have our Dartmouth Public Schools will have their own table. We also have, the Veterans Administration from Dartmouth. He'll be there. Our Board of Health will be there. Our youth advocate. We also bring in the young Marines and sources that not just our special needs children or disabled community needs, but everyone could use. My husband's also a disabled vet, so he can speak to the gentleman that comes from Dartmouth, and if there's any benefits that he needs to, look into, he can talk to him about it. And we bring him there. And it's a Sunday, so my husband's more available, a lot more people are available, and they're doing this on their own time. It's all volunteer. We ask no fee for the resources to come in, and they get a free table and have a great time.
So these people who come in seeking answers, the people who are sitting at these tables, they're not just there to hand out a pen. I mean, they are there to answer questions, to help people if at all possible.
Yes.
Go ahead, Kathleen.
And I know firsthand, calling places and trying to find the person who's going to really answer your question. You can put a face to a voice on the phone or an email and have that personal connection and follow up and say, I met you at this event and XYZ. And in many cases, events that I've gone through around the state, that works well. I've experienced that myself, and just having that person-to-person contact, conversation, which often leads to different connections throughout the conversation, yes.
Mm-hmm. You're listening to Townsquare Sunday on WBSM. My guest is Kathleen Amaral, an organizer of the 5th Annual Southeastern Massachusetts Community Resource and Crafts Fair. It's coming up Sunday, October 22nd, in the gymnasium at Dartmouth High School. She is joined by another organizer, Marianne Santos, and both of these people have been working on this project for some time. So when folks go, Marianne, what will they see? When they enter that gymnasium, they'll see a lot of tables, I'm sure.
They'll see a lot of tables. And we have it so when you first walk in the door, we have our CPAC, or our Special Education Parents Advisory Council, there. We have our flyers of upcoming events that we hold, usually in one of the Dartmouth schools. And then you'll get a map of what is around. And we're working on the floor plan now, so they'll know where that resource is. So if someone's coming in just for a specific resource, they'll be able to look at their name of where what the resource is, find it on the map, and go directly to there. If they want to take in the whole event, you can walk around. We have like I said, local crafters. We have a couple crafters that are actually disabled themselves. We have a gentleman that takes photography. He's in a wheelchair. He's nonverbal, but he takes photography through his computer, and then he edits them, and he'll be there selling his stuff. We also have a young girl that does paracord bracelets and keychains and dog leashes, and she'll be there. And there's a couple others in between, but we don't focus on the disabled crafters. They're there. They got beautiful work. On top of that, we'll have our unified basketball team playing from 11 until 12, I believe. 10:30 to 11:30, and they will be playing Dighton Rehoboth in the back side of the gym. And then at the end, once they're done, we have another activity that goes on in the back, which is called Spark Pop-Up Fort Building. And it's just big blocks, and they get to build forts, and the kids will have a lot of fun back there. We have face painting. We have music therapy. There's a lady that comes, and she sits in a little circle with the kids, and they play music.
So there's activity to keep kids busy while
mom and dad are
perusing these services. All right. And admission is free.
Yes.
We should emphasize that because not many things free anymore. But this is what this amounts to is free advice. Mm-hmm. A place where you can go and if you have some sort of crisis in your family, I think this is really a way to get some help from, in many cases, people who've been there. Mm-hmm. And I think we all, you two are special needs parents. I'm a special needs parent. We all have had that feeling of what do we do now? And this is a chance to at least learn some of that. So how does your council, your Special Needs Parents Council, how does that function? How do you need money to do your work? Obviously, there's a little bit of funds are needed to put this kind of thing together. I don't know if they charge you rent for the gym. Mm-hmm. They did. Okay.
Well,
we actually pay for the janitor. For the Sunday.
Right.
So we do have to pay for that. Most of the other fees are donations. Between our board, we either put it out of our pocket and just out of our goodness of our heart, because this is something that we've always loved to do. It's a fun day. But to go back to the resources, some of the other resources we have is we do have Regain drug addiction support groups. So that is a big topic these days in the area. So we've brought in a couple different resources that deal with drug addiction, and Hidden in Plain Sight will be set up there also.
In planning this, I'm sure you had discussions about, how can we make this relevant for folks besides special needs parents? Certainly special needs parents need help, and they need a lot of help sometimes. But in planning this, I'm sure you said, hey, we got to do a little more. Mm-hmm. Kathleen?
Yeah, so the way that, I'll speak for myself, but I know the board feels this way, a lot of what we require, our children require, is something that really transcends disability, especially with the focus in schools these days with attention to social emotional well-being. So when children have parents who are addicted or are struggling with homelessness, those things trickle into the family and into the community. So that was deep in our mind to make sure that we incorporate resources that are for everyone, for their health and wellness, their mental health, their social, emotional well-being.
Mary Ann, give us a rundown again. Tell us when and where again. We want to make sure that people get this.
Actually, it's Sunday, October 22nd, from 10 to 3 at the Dartmouth High School Gymnasium at 555 Bakersville Road. There'll be plenty of parking. It's all free to come in. We do have a raffle, so if you want to contribute or help with the unified basketball teams and different sports that we have, we're there to raise a little bit of money, but
Sure.
not really to push the issue of raising money. It's more to help the community of what's out there for them, whether you have a disability or not. It's going to be a great day. We get excited every year and getting further and further ahead of it, bigger and bigger.
Again, this is a pretty important task because it is you're providing information, and you're providing information for free. You just got to come in, spend a little time with folks. Mm-hmm. They will share with you what they know. And if they don't have an answer to your question, I'm sure they can put you in touch with people who do have answers to your question. It is a serious event, but there's fun involved, mm-hmm. and it is the kind of thing where you're going to see a lot of people who are just like you. They have have issues in their family, and some days are smooth, some days not quite so smooth. I think we all know about that. So. Again, October 22nd, Sunday, Dartmouth High School, a free event. It's a community resource fair and also a craft fair, and you can just walk in and get some questions answered, or just enjoy the day. There's a lot of things to see as well. Kathleen, we are almost out of time here, but let me just quickly ask you, Kathleen, you got involved how? How was that?
You know, I love community. I got involved. I'm a parent. I have 3 children. One of my children happens to have a disability and requires special education services. But I see all of my children requiring something at some time in their life, and this is the event for a family like myself.
Kathleen, thanks for coming in, and Mary Ann, thank you for coming in to talk
You're
about
welcome.
This Community Resource and Crafts Fair. Next Sunday, the 22nd, Dartmouth High School on Bakerville Road. I hope you have a big crowd.
Thank you so
very
much for the opportunity.
Please join us again next Sunday on WBSM for Townsquare Sunday. Until then, have a wonderful week and a great Sunday.